What is up guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here, and today we're going to be talking all about the New Balance Beacon version 2 after 100 miles. So after 100 miles in the New Balance Beacon version 2, there's lots to discuss, my final thoughts including what on earth is going on with this insole here and why this shoe has become my go-to easy daily trainer. All of that will be discussed today, so if you're excited for today's video, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and without further ado, let's dive in. So welcome back to another video guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here, and I'm delighted to be reporting to you from well over 100 miles in the New Balance Beacon version 2. And as I highlighted in the intro there's a couple of bits and pieces that I want to go through with you today. But I think we've got to start off by saying, and giving this shoe a little bit of credit, we've got to say that this shoe dropped into my shoe rotation at a very awkward time. It really did start off on the back foot, excuse the pun. I obviously at the time had the New Balance FuelCell Propel for my easy runs and my long runs, and then the Hoka only rincons for my races and my speedier workouts. And those two shoes had such a kind of great chemistry and combination for me at the time, working together, and I just did not want to run in any other shoe. But of course I got my hands on a pair of the Beacon version 2s because they had rave reviews from a lot of you guys, and a lot of you guys who kind of recommended me to try these things out. So after 100 miles, I can safely say that my opinions have changed on the shoe, so much so that they have now become my easy go-to daily trainer. I pick these things up on a Monday and a Wednesday. When I'm due my easy runs, they're just, let's go into it. First and foremost, I think out of everything, the insole for me has been the biggest issue with this shoe. From like the second or third run, the insoles in both the shoes started to come loose, work their way out the back of the heel as you're running. I remember taking this thing on the long run test, and I had to stop 2 or 3 times on the long run. It was a 22 miler, and the insole just kept literally sliding its way up and out the back of the heel, and in the end it got to about here where this thing was flapping around on my Achilles. It was very frustrating, and I thought this is not a good start to a shoe. Not only has it come into the running shoe rotation late to the party, but it's now doing this, and this is not fun. Now, I was, of course, going to glue it down. I mentioned that I was going to glue these down. And you guys have also mentioned that you glued the insoles down as well. I just haven't done that, to be perfectly honest with you. And the main reason is I've decided not to use them for my long run shoe anyway. And I find that within 6 to 8 miles, the insole creeps up the back, but it only comes up to about in line with the heel cut there. And it just doesn't do anything else. And although it's extremely frustrating and irritating, it doesn't cause me any issues, and it doesn't cause me any frustration. If anything, it makes the toe box a little bit wider for my feet to splay in, and I'm not going to complain. It's comfy without the insole anyway, I'm not going to lie. So I've never bothered gluing it down, but I think in terms of the shoe itself, that's the biggest drawback. Now, in the beginning, I complained that the foam in this thing was too hard for the long run, and it was too hard in general. I stick by the fact that it's too hard for the long run. It's not a shoe that I would ever consider taking out for a long run ever again. It's something that was just too firm on my feet. My feet hurt, my legs hurt when I was done with it. However, I have got to agree with a lot of you in the comments. A lot of you said, be patient, the shoe kind of wears itself in after 50 miles or so. I did find that. I found that after maybe 30-35 miles, this was a shoe that I was actually finding an enjoyable shoe to go out on. The strap line that I put with this shoe is that you're not paying a premium price, therefore don't expect a premium product. £81 this shoe, and I still stand by that, but I think you get real bang for your buck for £81. This thing can be a really good daily trainer and a really good trainer to use across the board. Some of you enjoy it on your long runs, that's fine, it's not my cup of tea, but I have done a couple of speed workouts in this thing as well, and I get on with it quite well, I'm not going to lie. The responsiveness of the shoe, the way the foam sort of sucks you in and then springs you back off, I find it works. It works really nicely, and it's just such a light shoe. For me, I think this is the lightest shoe in my rotation. I'm not 100% sure with the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2 now, but this shoe feels incredibly light. And when you just want to get up and get out the door and your legs are feeling a bit heavy from a workout the day before, you just want something light and easy that's going to take your legs on a nice ride, and this thing does that. So in terms of my opinions, this thing really has become a daily trainer for me, and I'm quite happy to say that when I retire this thing from running, I will probably use it as an all-round walking around town to work type of trainer. It really is that good. So what are my final thoughts? My final thoughts, as I just said, this is now my go-to easy running. Unfortunately, the New Balance FuelCell Propel has been bumped back. That's not knocking the shoe. I still love that shoe very much. But it's just a bit heavier and a bit clunkier than this thing, and I just find myself reaching for this thing. The New Balance FuelCell Propel, for me, is definitely geared up for my long runs. Looking forward to getting back into those long runs after this weekend, after the Gloucester 10K. And bar the insole issue, I rate this shoe highly. So I've got to say, guys, opinions have changed on this shoe, and I'm really, really delighted and can't wait to put more miles into it. In terms of wear and tear, the thing is holding up really, really well. No signs on the upper whatsoever after 100 miles. The outsole is looking great. I did a comparison review between this and the Hoka only rincon, and I said to you guys it's going to kind of be the war of the shoes without much rubber outsole on them. As you can see, the only rubber outsole in this shoe are on selected areas here and here where New Balance determine it to be high wearing. But in terms of that, if you compare this to the Hoka rincon, which use the same philosophy, this is holding up far better than the Hoka rincon. The only wear and tear I have on this shoe is up here when I'm toeing off. The hexagonal patterns here are wearing very thin. Other than that, all of this is still holding out well. And the big bonus for me, more so than anything, is I can take these things out on the cycle track, out on the buffed out trails, and not experience any grip issues. It just works well everywhere I want to run. So those guys are my final thoughts on the New Balance Beacon version 2. Love to know what your thoughts are. Did your opinions change when you started putting more mileage into it? Let me know in the comments below. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly running content. And I'll see you next time. Until then.